Hey America, thanks for tuning in. This is the Donald Trump Comedy Show number 4. Hey, let's have a little fun with Donald Trump. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple of Donald Trump's cabinet picks. So I think most everybody knows that Betsy DeVos is Donald Trump's pick for Secretary of Education. So I'm not sure if you know what her track record is, but she is for private, for-profit charter schools. The problem with that is 90% of Americans go to the public school system. So, America, I think most everybody's pretty much aware too that Donald Trump does not like to read or write. He'll write his signature on an executive order, or he'll tweet 140 characters, and that's about the extent of it. So, most people are probably not aware of this, but Betsy DeVos and Donald Trump had a closed-door meeting before he selected her to be his nominee. And so what they decided was, since Donald Trump doesn't like to read or write, that there was no reason to have reading or writing or arithmetic as like the 3 core courses that you need to be taught in the public school system. So their plan is to get rid of those, and these are the courses that Donald Trump and Betsy DeVos came up with. They thought everybody in America should know Tweeting 101, Bullying for Success. Another course, Applying Fear Tactics in Today's Society. And How to Insult and Disenfranchise Friends and Allies. So what do you think, America? You like those courses that Donald Trump and Betsy DeVos want to put in our public school system? And hell, let's get rid of reading, writing, and arithmetic. They're way overrated. So America, yesterday, Kellyanne Conway went on the news. Donald Trump probably sent her out there to the podium with marching orders. And she said that there had been a massacre in Bowling Green, Kentucky, back in 2010. And MSNBC and CNN both fact-checked her, and there was no massacre, nobody killed in Bowling Green, Kentucky back in 2010. Again, it was just alternative facts. Seems like the White House can do this whenever they want. But America, you decide. Was there a massacre or not a massacre? So America, another one of Donald Trump's cabinet picks is Jeff Sessions to be the Attorney General, Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the entire United States. So I don't know if you've been watching the hearings, but it's pretty much been pointed out that the last 30 years he's had a track record of voting against any law that dealt with equal rights for women, equal rights for black people. I mean, he's definitely a racist, a sexist, and a bigot if you look at his track record. But the Republicans all say they're going to vote for him because they've known him for 30 years in the Senate. And he's a really nice guy to talk to. So, I ask you this, America. I got an ex-brother-in-law who lives in southern Delaware. College-educated guy. When we used to go visit him in Delaware, or they'd come visit us, we'd play around a golf or two, barbecue in the backyard. He's just like Jeff Sessions. He's a really nice guy. But you know what? My brother-in-law, he would categorize all black people as niggers. I mean, that's just the way he talked. So, America, let me ask you this. Just because my brother-in-law is a nice guy, would you make him the Attorney General of the United States? So, America, I mean, whether it's my brother-in-law or Jeff Sessions, if you got a track record of behaving like that, it's got to be taken into consideration, right? America, you decide. So, America, I don't know if you heard about this, but Donald Trump wants to create a new government agency through the signature of an executive order. So this new agency that he wants to create is called the Department of Cloning and Research. And this department is going to be headed by Steve Bannon. And the whole idea is they're going to take Donald Trump's DNA and his chromosomes and stuff. And the plan is to try to eventually create a master white race of people. So, America, I ask you, is this a wise use of taxpayer dollars? It does sound like something Donald Trump would do, though, right? Yeah, there's no doubt about it. So, America, rumor has it from sources close to Kellyanne Conway that Donald Trump gets an erection whenever he wants to go out and tell a lie to the American people. So Kellyanne had to go take Donald Trump's clothes to his personal tailor, and he had to get all his pants enlarged to hide the fact that he has an erection. And, it's never good to be out in the public when you got an erection. Especially when there's press cameras around, right? So, America, you decide. Is that fact or alternative fact? I don't know. So, America, when Donald Trump was on the campaign trail, he made a comment about the Flint, Michigan disaster. So, how does he handle that type of disaster now that he became the president? Well, he decided to roll back all the environmental regulations. Hell, America, we don't need no stinking Clean Water Act. Hey, America, let me tell you a true story. When I was 12 years old, 1967, my parents and I and my sisters went up to Holland, Michigan, and stayed at the state park, beautiful state park. And when you get up in the morning to go for a walk along the beach, from the water line up to where the concession stand was, which is about 200 yards of normally beautiful white beach, every morning there was dead fish stacked 5 feet high all the way to the concession stand, caused by the factories along Lake Michigan polluting into the lake. And every morning at the crack of dawn, a bunch of bulldozers would come in and they'd scoop up all the fish and they'd take them somewhere and dump them before people started coming from the campgrounds to lay out on the beach and sunbathe. So I ask all the people up in Michigan that voted for Donald Trump, hey, we don't need no stinking Clean Water Act, right? Hey, America, you decide. You put this clown in office, so. So, America, now, the last thing I want to talk about tonight is Something that scientists and researchers started noticing about 18 months ago within the population of the United States. They started noticing what turned out to be a new disease, and this disease is called Trumpsomnia. So I'm going to tell you what those disease symptoms are in just a second. But America, I don't know if you can see this big gash on the top of my head here. I got that gash because I got a severe case of Trumpsomnia. What happened was about 5 nights ago, 4 o'clock in the morning, it's pitch black in my house. I'm laying in bed and I can't sleep because I got Trumpsomnia. So I get this great idea for a Donald Trump joke, and I gotta go out into the kitchen to go write it down before I forget about it. So I didn't turn the lights on, and unfortunately for me, I misjudged where the doorway entrance was, and I ran into the framing around the doorway. And so this big gash in the middle of my forehead is because of a severe case of Trumpsomnia. So America, here are the symptoms of Trumpsomnia: extreme irritability, nausea, vomiting, profuse sweating, anger, agitation, frustration, aggressive tendencies, and an irrational need to cuss at the top of your lungs at the television set if you're watching CNN or MSNBC and watching what's going on in politics. So America, if you have these symptoms, you might have the same thing I have, which is Trumpsomnia. But the good news is there's a cure for Trumpsomnia, and it's pretty simple. It's the same thing I'm doing, talking to you, because I use comedy as a way of protesting against Donald Trump and his administration and his cabinet picks. So the cure is to go out there and join a protest march. Pick up the phone, call your congressman or senator. Even better, if you can show up at the door of his office and scream at him at the top of your lungs. Start to rebel, America. Have your voices heard. You know, the only way when there's partisan politics going on is to put enough pressure on the people that make the decisions in Washington. So, hey, I appreciate the fact that the press and the media, for the most part, get it right. They lay out the facts. They present the facts to the American people. And, you know, if we continue to dig up all those facts, you know, I think eventually justice will get served. We'll get Donald Trump impeached and out of office. And those that are corrupt within his administration and possibly his cabinet, they'll be serving prison time at some point. And I'm confident that the American people will reclaim democracy in the United States. Hey folks, I appreciate you tuning in. Everybody have a good evening.